And oh, by the way, yeah, I was trying to wanted to bring this up earlier, that I believe that the school choice movement has made a well-intentioned mistake historically in pushing for school choice legislation. Again, thinking too much on logical terms rather than opposed to political calculations that are made by Republicans and Democrats in office. And the mistake that I believe that a lot of us have made is that we've made the bipartisan case for school choice, which I think it is a bipartisan policy on the ground. And we've messaged in that way as well. And I think it's correct arguments that school choice is an equalizer. It allows for more families to have access to educational opportunities who couldn't afford it before. It's also a right-leaning policy because of competition and markets, and this could be better for your curriculum disagreements that you might have in the public school system. You can make left-leaning and right-leaning arguments for school choice. I think we focus too much on making the left-leaning arguments to try to win over Democrats who might even be with us philosophically, but are listening to the political power dynamics on the ground coming from one of their biggest donors, the teachers unions, who contribute over 99% of their campaign contributions to them as opposed to Republicans each year. And what I think has changed with a lot of school choice groups, or at least a couple of them over the past couple of years, is we've kind of seen that Republicans are the ones voting for the policy. And if it's messaged as a bipartisan thing, and it's not a GOP litmus test issue, it's not a Republican Party platform issue, then the Republicans in office get a pass. They can say, it's not a Republican thing, I don't need to vote for it. And so what we end up with is you have Democrats voting against it and Republicans voting against it. So you don't get it in blue states or in red states. But recently we've seen a surge in bills passing in red states, particularly because I think it has become more of a GOP litmus test issue, and they've leaned into the issue. And I think the path towards bipartisanship is not through pretending it's a bipartisan policy among elected officials. I mean, we should still make the arguments to Democrats and say, look, this is a bipartisan thing philosophically, but we got to make it politically profitable for the wrong people to do the right things, just like Milton Friedman famously said. Those are wise words. And the way that we do that with school choice, in the short run, you're going to have one party benefiting from leaning into parental rights. We're seeing that happen with the GOP emerging as the parents' party. We saw that with Terry McAuliffe, and we're seeing that with other elections at the same time. But the more that they do it and lean into parental rights, the more it becomes politically disastrous for Democrats to come out against it. And we're even seeing some Democrat statewide elected candidates, like Josh Shapiro in Virginia, switching his tune on school choice, and that's because he doesn't want a Terry McAuliffe moment happen to him. He doesn't want Doug Mastriano to be able to say, you're a school choice hypocrite because you sent all your kids to private school, Josh Shapiro, and you also exclusively attended private school. Shapiro essentially took that argument away from Doug Mastriano. He can't be accused of school choice hypocrisy anymore, or very effectively at least, because he's supporting Lifeline scholarships now in Pennsylvania. And so in the short run, I think you get some political victories for the party that moves first. We're seeing the GOP do that. And in the long run, you have the bipartisan support because it becomes disastrous to come out against it. And it just becomes unthinkable in the long run to be against school choice, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. And so I see some segments of the school choice movements kind of learning from that and calling out Republicans. I'm doing that on social media. When they come out against their party platform issue, I call it out. If they vote against school choice, I'll call it out on social media. We're seeing the national media calling it out as well. And so this is a good turn of events. And although it's seemingly counterintuitive at first to believe that you can get bipartisanship through hyperpartisanship, seems like it doesn't make any sense. When you think about the political calculations, it's much more likely that that's going to happen than if you pretend it's bipartisan and then you get no victories because people say, it's not my issue.
We had a slogan during the Tea Party days that upset some of my Republican friends. You have to beat the Republicans before you can beat the Democrats.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, in the primaries.